Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I have a big project for you guys, but before we get into it, we gotta talk about Drago and his undefeated trial to become the ultimate Bakugan. So Dan and Drago have to beat all their friends to essentially pass this trial and evolve. So first up, we have Julie, and all I gotta say is that she made so many bullshit rules. Like, she's the one kid you play back in elementary school that makes up rules on the spot, just so they don't get caught. So the first thing she does is ride alongside Gollum during the fight, and uses an ability card to give him a double-sided hammer, to which he chucks at Drago like a fucking boomerang. And I'm not gonna lie, Drago tanked that shit like a champ. Like, bro, who got you smiling like that? So Dan tries to power Drago up with the gate card, to which Gollum says, "Man, fuck your gate card." Then somehow destroys the gate card. Like, is that even allowed? And look at Julie being all like, "Yeah, I can do that if the card is open." Like, says who? Says who? So Julie points at Drago and says, "I want this lizard cooked medium rare." And Gollum proceeds to start doing the absolute sonic boom on the road. And the worst part is that Dan can't even use an ability card because Julie is on Gollum. If Drago attacks Gollum, he's gonna manslaughter Julie. Absolute BS, from destroying an unopened gate card to literally holding the game hostage. And she just starts talking shit, being like,
"What's wrong, pussy? Is that all you got? I'm about to give your lizard CTE and you'll get this fader right now."
and has the audacity to say he isn't taking it seriously and that she's risking her life, unlike him. Like, girl, you witnessed Dan jump into the Doom Dimension to be with Drago after he lost the dual Dragonoid. And for some reason, this convinced Dan, who hopped on Drago, used an ability card to match Gollum's power level, and doubled down by using a fusion ability card to amplify his card. He did not give a fuck anymore. Like Dan really said, "Let me take off the light up schedules and put on the Black Air Forces." And realistically, Julie should have died, but she didn't because of the plot. So you're gonna notice a pattern that is used in every fight. Drago uses Meteor Strike Dragon, and Dan uses an ability card which is the I win the game card. No other Bakugan in the anime has this card but Drago and Dragonoid. So maybe Julie's bullshit rules weren't so BS after all. So next up we got MARUCHO, and all I gotta say is that MARUCHO got washed. MARUCHO sent out Preyas, and Dan sends out Drago on their respective cards. So this forces MARUCHO to send out Diablo. And before the fight starts, Preyas says, "Watch this shit," and becomes black. So now that Preyas is black, they can use a Nova Darkened Correlation, which increases Diablo's power level by 100. So now there's a 50 level gap between Diablo and Drago. So if Dan doesn't do something, Drago's cooked. So he tries to use an ability card just to get hit with the with Water Refrain, which basically means he can't use an ability card for a certain amount of time. So Dan said fuck it and opened his gate card, causing a TI. So Dan chucks Drago to fight Preyas, and you already know this dude is shitting bricks because he knows what this tweaking dinosaur can do. So MARUCHO opens up the gate card, which was triple battle, and Angelo gets sent out. So now it's a 2v1, and look at Preyas in pure relief that he got bailed out by his brother, because he knew that he would have gotten belt to ass by Drago if it was a 1v1. So Drago has 450 Gs, and the Predators have 800 Gs. So now it's a fight to stall. There's a 350 power difference, and Water Refrain is still up. So they start scrapping, and they can't get the job done because of plot. Like, look at them jump on Drago just for them to get yeeted back into the ground. And I am 90% sure that these two know that they aren't built for this shit. Like, Praise is looking over, and he's like, "Oh shit!" Because he sees Dan pull out the wind card, and I think you can guess what happened here. They dropped a meteor on them. And with that, Dan secured 2 wins in 10 minutes. So next is Shun's turn, but he just starts talking shit, saying shit like, fighting you in your current state has no meaning, and that he'll wait for him tomorrow. So the next episode comes, and it's the next day. Dan is supposed to fight Shun, and they're making plans. Dan wants to go see his main piece RUNO, but Drago said he had other plans because he had to answer his future baby mama's booty call. So Drago pulls up in the Uber, and she's already there just waiting for him as he arrives.
ここか。
ようこそドラゴ。
ワイバン。
So the date starts, and we pretty much get some backstory between the two on how they first met. So Drago falls in between dimensions, and that's where he meets Naga and Wyvern. And they have no attributes, so they don't belong in any of the 6 worlds in Vestrolia. Some pretty sad shit, because all they can do is just wait for their own death in isolation for something that's completely out of their control. So Drago, being hit with Snow Bunny mind control, starts visiting her, and they develop a romantic relationship. So in Drago's moment of Riz, that's when Naga tried to take the silent core. He had enough of everyone's shit, and frankly, I don't blame him, because imagine being born in absolute solitude, knowing that other people are enjoying their freedom, and you're stuck with your twin sister, just waiting to die alone and forgotten. But one day, a red lizard comes in and bags your sister. Like, yeah, I start tweaking too. So back at the park, Julie and Marucho are waiting, and this is where SHUN makes his entrance, nonchalantly crossed-armed with the wind blowing around him. Like, who the fuck are you, bro? So Dan doesn't show up, and Marucho and Julie are wondering where he went, and this man is still crossed-armed with his eyes closed until he gets a message from Dan, and even then, he is still farming aura. My god. So after the date, Drago is rolling to the meetup but gets stopped by Tigress, and Tigress pretty much wanted to fight Drago before Skyrus did, because if Drago loses to Skyrus, then the trial is over. And to top it all off, SHUN appears out of nowhere and just allows it, saying shit like, yeah, if I win against Dan, you won't get your chance, go ahead. Like, this dude is so confident that he'd win. Also, I think we gotta address this. SHUN, where the hell did you get the umbrella from? Where the hell are Marucho and Julie? There is no way you just went up ahead just to look saucy with the green umbrella that you just spawned in. So the fight between Dan and RUNO starts, and they land on each other's cards. So RUNO nullifies his gate card, and Dan raises Drago's power level by 50. So now they're just staring each other down, and Drago just starts talking shit, being like,
Fight on your own turf, pussy.
and he's like,
Bet.
so that's what they do. They fight on RUNO's card, so they start scrapping. They lock onto each other, and Tigress tries to get a punch in, but Drago lifts up Tigress and drops his ass. So the gate card opens, and now Tigress has the higher power. So now that Tigress has the power lead, he starts giving Drago belt to ass. So RUNO uses Velocity Fang, slicing up Drago and causing him to go down all the way to 350 Gs. But let's be honest, we know who's gonna win this. Dan uses Meteor Strike Dragon to match in power level again. So Drago shoots a fireball at Tigress just for him to deflect it. And it goes perfectly in place just for this man to aura farm. Oh my god. SHUN's favorite character has to be Piccolo. There is no fucking way. Meanwhile, Drago is just looking at Tigress being like, alright, not bad, not bad.
Try to dodge this one, bro.
And just one-shots him with this stupid fusion card. Oh my. So now we have the second most anticipated battle in the series. The main character versus the biggest aura farmer. But before the battle starts, Joe and Wyvern show up. So now Drago got his girl watching, so surely he doesn't lose this. Like, look how starstruck she is. Even the other Bakugan know that this dude is no bunny heaven. Alright, enough of that. So the battle between Charmander and the Duolingo bird starts. They start clashing and everyone's just mesmerized. So after scrapping for a while, Drago finally gets the first hit and starts fighting her neck. So SHUN opens his gate card, and now Skyrus has a 100 power lead. So Dan counters his counter with his ability card, so now Drago has the 100 power lead. So SHUN counters his counter to his counter by using a Nova Wind correlation, breaking even. So despite their power levels being even, Skyrus starts beating Drago's ass. Drago locks in and manages to grab Skyrus just for her to escape and silently toss this lizard to the floor, causing Dan to pass out as well because this dumbass ran towards him. So the battle is technically over. Drago and Dan are knocked out, and technically, SHUN should be happy. But then he just snaps and just starts going berserk, saying shit like, hey, get your ass up. Tell your stupid lizard to get his ass up too. How are you gonna lose when your bitch is watching? Same for the stupid lizard. Your girlfriend is watching and you gonna lose like this? Get your ass up, tell your Charmander to get his ass up too, cause I'm not done whooping your ass! So with the power of plot, Dan gets up, and Drago gets up too as if he didn't stop with the meanest suplex I've ever seen. But then again, if my shorty was watching, I'd also get up and stay nonchalant as well. So both players get on their Bakugan, and look at SHUN. Jumps up and crosses his arms while standing just because he felt like it. And we all know that he isn't doing it because the hosts are watching. He's doing it for the love of the game. You know what? Double points. So now it's a battle in the skies, and he's still aura farming, same pose in the air, even when Skyrus turns sideways. Like, how? Oh, but we're not done. He jumps off of Skyrus, does a backflip, and raises his hand up. Just the pose when he uses an ability card in the sky. And he jumps back onto Skyrus trying to stay nonchalant. Someone get this man's mother. Oh. So Skyrus hits Drago, and now they're falling down. But with the power of fusion card, they get a 100 power lead. So they make one last card and Drago wins the battle. And despite losing, this man Shun is still trying to stay nonchalant. Oh my god. So Drago passes the trial and evolves into Nova Ultimate Dragonoid, or Ultimate Dragonoid for the English watchers. So Shun walks up and offers to shake his hand, saying it was a good battle. This was the most chalant thing he has done in the entire anime, by the way. So yeah, that was the Drago trials. From winning by abusing the balanced fusion card to rizzing up his white girlfriend. But yeah, that's kind of all I have. See ya.